Dear brothers and sisters, in about 5 weeks, believe it or not, we are going to get another Ramadan. The blessed month of Ramadan is around the corner. Now is the time for us to mentally prepare ourselves to receive this holy month of Ramadan. You might wonder, what is there to mentally prepare for Ramadan, right? We see this month coming year over year, every year throughout our life. So what is there to mentally prepare, and why is it even required, right? There are a couple of main reasons I want you and I to be reminded about. It is one, there is no guarantee that we are going to see another Ramadan, right? You and I, I'm pretty sure if we think about it, we can think of someone who we knew was around last year for Ramadan, and this year now they are not around. I'm sure you can at least think of one person if you think about it, right? So there is no guarantee that you're going to see another Ramadan. Another thing is, before getting into any month-long activity, say for example, you're going on a vacation back home, or you are attending a boot camp, a month-long boot camp, let's say, an expensive one, let's say, okay? So when an activity like that is involved, if you're going back home, it's going to be a couple, not even couple, it's more than a couple $1,000s. It's easily a few $1,000s traveling a vacation like that, right? So what do? You start planning months in advance. You start booking your tickets. You start packing your luggages and so on. There are a number of preparation steps are involved, right? And same thing with attending a boot camp or whatnot. You have to prepare yourself. The only difference between the activities I mentioned and Ramadan is a free occurrence. We are not paying anything to anyone. The only expense for us in case of Ramadan, if we don't take advantage of that, is going to be our own akhirah, right? It's going to be way more expensive than the few $1,000s you might have spent for that vacation example I gave, or for the boot camp example I gave. So it's going to be way more expensive if you're not taking advantage of this blessed month that we get only once every year. And there is no guarantee that we are going to see this year. May Allah make us, all of us, to see another Ramadan this year. And even if you see this Ramadan this year, there is no guarantee that you're going to be around for next year. Even if you're going to be around, there is no guarantee that you're going to be healthy enough to fast another Ramadan. Right? There are a lot of contingencies out there. So it's very important for you and I to take this seriously and start mentally preparing for the Ramadan that is around the corner. So speaking of mental preparation, the first thing that we have to do is understanding the why of Ramadan. Why are we fasting in Ramadan? Why? You might have heard of some theories around why we are fasting in the month of Ramadan. You might have heard some people saying we are fasting because we want to experience the hunger. We want to experience how poor people are going through, what poor people are going through in terms of hunger and poverty and all that, right? So that is a good objective. It may be a side effect of observing Ramadan. I'm not discounting that fact. Yes, by fasting, we are feeling the hunger. Yes, it is true. But at the same time, if that is the case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have exempted the poor people from fasting in the month of Ramadan, because they're already experiencing that throughout their lifetime or at the time when they're poor, right? That's not the case. Poor people are not exempted from Ramadan. They actually are happy to observe Ramadan because they get to do the ibadah. They are experiencing hunger anyways. So they are not exempted. And even rich people do experience hunger at times. It's not like every rich people do not leave any gap between the meals or anything like that. We all experience hunger at some point. It's not like it's not like there are some individuals who did not experience hunger. They have to put through this Ramadan exercise for them to experience this hungry. No, that's not the case. You might have heard health reasons for observing Ramadan, right? It is true, by observing Ramadan, coming out of Ramadan, our body becomes healthier. than where we started. It is true. There are some medical benefits coming out of Ramadan, experiencing Ramadan. It is true. But if that were the main objective of Ramadan, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have exempted sick people, right? Think about it. If a person becomes healthier by observing Ramadan, then sick people should observe Ramadan, right? They are the one who needs health. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exempting sick people from observing Ramadan. So it's optional for them. If they are sick, they don't have to observe Ramadan. They have to do a dues. So what does it mean? So sick, the health is a side benefit. It's a byproduct of Ramadan, but it is not the main objective of Ramadan, right? So we don't want to undermine the main objective of Ramadan by creating our own reasonings. That is the main thing I want to emphasize here. So what is the main objective of Ramadan? Why are we even fasting? Let's look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, oh you believe, kutiba alaykum siyamu, fasting is prescribed upon you. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, as it was prescribed upon those who came before you. La'allakum tattaqun. Here's the key. La'allakum tattaqun. So that you may be God-fearing. So taqwa, right? So the taqwa, obtaining the taqwa, gaining the taqwa, that is the whole objective of Ramadan. That is the exercise that you and I are going through in the month of Ramadan. And there is no doubt that any one of us that are experiencing Ramadan, at the end of Ramadan, our iman increases. We all can feel that, right? We all wish at the end of Ramadan, we all wish that our iman stays at that higher level, right? That is the experience, no matter where you start with, that is the experience that you and I get at the end of Ramadan. So that is the whole objective of Ramadan, so that we may be God-fearing, right? So if you think about it, in Ramadan, what are we doing? We are abstaining ourselves from drinking and eating, right? We are abstaining ourselves from the halal food, right? From the halal food that we have earned, that we have purchased. It is halal. There is nothing haram in the food material itself. But it becomes haram during the window of Ramadan time, while you are fasting. So you are abstaining from it. If you want to, you can hide yourself to a corner without anyone noticing you, without any human being getting any sight about, any clue about you. You can, if you want, you can hide and eat something. But do any of us do that? No, none of us even think about it. Why? Because we want to satisfy our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or we know that Allah is watching constantly, no matter wherever we go, no matter whichever hiding spot, even if it's a bunker, even if you go there, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. So as we feed this message to our subconscious mind becomes stronger and stronger by the sense, that the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the exercise that we are going through, that the realizing that Allah is watching us constantly. So the more we exercise our brain in that angle, the more the iman that we gain. So that's the exercise that we go through in that month of Ramadan. And then at the end of the Ramadan, we experience an increase in our iman as a result of that. So now, why is fasting prescribed in Ramadan? Why Ramadan? Of all the months, why Ramadan? Because Ramadan is the month when the revelation of Quran has started. The revelation of Quran has started in the month of Ramadan. So there is a strong connection between Ramadan and Quran. So it only makes sense for you and I to increase our connection to Quran coming out of Ramadan. So that should be one of our primary goals, right? We have to have a goal for ourselves to increase our connection to Quran coming out of this month of Ramadan. So gaining taqwa, as we saw, is definitely the primary objective of Ramadan. But is it the only objective of Ramadan? No, that's not the only objective. We also have to hone in on our characteristics in the month of Ramadan. So let's see about that. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that those who do not abstain from falsehood in their speech or in their action, Allah does not need their hunger or thirst, right? So someone who is fasting the month of Ramadan, but they are not abstaining themselves from the falsehood in their speech or in their action, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need their hunger or thirst. This authentic hadith is in Bukhari, hadith number 1903, 6057, and narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. So from this authentic hadith, we understand that not only observing the fasting, but also working on our characteristics is another important aspect of observing Ramadan. So at least this falsehood is an offensive action, right? You may be lying, or you may be trying to trick someone or cheat someone. So that's an offensive action. Let's consider another action. If you encounter a fight, this is also an authentic hadith from Bukhari. If you encounter a fight, or if someone is scolding you, then just tell them that you are fasting. While you are fasting, if you are encountering a fight, so a fight need not be a physical fighting, right? It's even verbal accusations, or someone is scolding you, then just tell them instead of defending yourself. So that's what you normally do, right? If someone is accusing you for no valid reason, you will try to defend yourself. But while you're fasting, don't even do that. Just say, I'm fasting. That's it, period. So that is the level of training that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to work on our own self-characteristics, right? This is also from Bukhari, hadith number 1893, 1903, narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu as well. So a couple things here that we have seen so far. One is obtaining the taqwa. That is the key thing in Ramadan. The second thing is working on our characteristics. If we fail to do the second thing, then Allah is not going to accept our hunger or thirst. All that hard work that we are putting in going through Ramadan will be of vain. It will go waste, right? So we don't want to get there. So we want to work on both taqwa as well as working on our own self-development.